Hello, hello. Happy Sunday to everybody. Welcome to the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton, and it is a wonderful and a different Sunday reset tonight. Yes, our guests are absolutely some of our Artist Corner family members. So I'm so excited, and what they do is a total art form in itself. So I'm so excited to welcome everybody here tonight. So hello to all of our Rumble viewers. Nice to see everybody there. Yes, it is definitely one big family. That is for sure. Hello to all of our pill viewers. I see the honey memes are going crazy. I love that. Hello to all of our X viewers as well. And hello to all of our YouTube viewers tonight. All right, guys, homework. Make sure that you do those likes, follows, and shares because we want to make sure the whole world knows about my guests. And I appreciate that more than you guys can imagine. Thank you guys for your support. I appreciate your rants, your subscriptions, your cash apps, your tips, your pills, and more. That helps me to keep the show going, and I appreciate that so much. So don't forget to do you guys' homework. I appreciate that. So, all right, like I said, tonight we've got some amazing Artist Corner family members in the house. Hello, hello to everyone that's joining in right now. We are welcoming Mark and Norma Kozlowski. They're an interventional radiologist and a retired cardiac RN turned homesteaders south of San Antonio. Right before COVID, they purchased a small property with plans to grow vegetables and eventually raise animals. Curious and courageous, they decided to try beekeeping. After confirming they weren't allergic, especially for Norma, after a year of learning through their local bee association, they started with 4 Italian honeybee hives, known for their docile nature and almond farm pollination roots in California. Though they've lost 2 over the years, they're now back up to 6 thriving colonies that are surviving through this winter freeze. God willing, that's true. They are going to hopefully produce honey this spring. Trust me when I say I've had a sample of this, and it is absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for them. So everybody do me a favor and please welcome Mark and Norma to the stage. Hello,
Hi,
hello.
How you doing, Lady H?
I'm great. I'm so excited that you guys are here because this is one of my favorite subjects. You guys know how much I believe that honey is like the perfect food that God has ever created, you know. We use it for so many things. So you have been on the show, you've been part of watching the show. So you know that. And when I found out you guys were beekeepers, you know that I'm like, oh, I have got to try some. And it was phenomenal. And I even reached out to Norman and I was like, I think I can taste this, this, and this. And I don't know if you guys know this out there, but honey has a distinct flavor on whatever the bees and pollen that they're picking up. So orange blossom honey, for instance, is because they're getting orange blossoms, you know, and I could taste the wildflowers. I could taste the mesquites in the area. And I was like, wow, this is phenomenal. So first and foremost, thank you for that. But please tell everyone about this crazy venture, because you're like, okay, we're just going to buy a homestead and here we go.
We haven't really gotten to be able to be out there enough to have animals because they have to have a consistent person there. So we decided on the bees because they're still high maintenance, but not as bad. And it just sounded like a really neat venture. And we actually joined a local bee association and learned about them for about a year. And once we felt comfortable, we purchased our hives and just went from there. It's just been a really neat adventure.
So tell everyone about your local bee association, because I don't even know people even know that they have such a thing. So explain what that is and how do you even find it, get involved?
Well, where we are, it's called the Coastal Bend Bee Association. There's another one in Houston. There are others in many cities.
Central Texas.
Literally, it's all
North
volunteer.
Texas.
People just get together every so often, usually once a month, and they go over what needs to be done to tend to your bees that particular month, because every month there's something different in terms of taking care of your bees to make sure they thrive through the whole year. You've got times in the spring coming up now where things are busting and they are starting to grow. The colonies are growing. They know when spring's coming before we do, and they're ready to get things moving, get their honey production going. Then you've got the summer where you can harvest honey. Then you have the fall where you prepare them for the winter, and hopefully, depending on where you are in the country, they survive the winter.
Right. And that's something that you don't even necessarily think about is honeys in a colder climate, right? Because I would assume, this is just me assuming, I mean, in the wild, do they migrate? I mean, I don't know, you guys, I don't know that much about bees, but I'm excited to learn because, as we talk about honey here, Nurse Patrick's like, I'm building hives. And we have local people here too. They're like, we'll sell you some, and things like that. But if you guys don't know about getting involved in your community and even making having the bees make your honey and stuff and having that wonderful harvest, I really suggest you guys look into it because just even having a local bee association is phenomenal and they're everywhere, something pretty easy to find. But this is just crazy. So when you first started this, was it a win-win the first year you did this? And how many years have you been doing this now?
We've been doing it about 4 years now. The first year, when you buy bees, unless you're going to buy a complete hive, much more expensive than what's called a nook or a half a hive.
Okay.
Don't expect to harvest honey on your first year. They need to get reserves to get them through their first winter. Many people, you just don't realize in most parts of the country, you don't have blossoms out there for at least half the year. And the bees need to store up enough honey inside their home, their hive, to survive the dearth, as you call it, where there's no bloom. So the first year, the honey that they're making is just for them to survive the winter. The next year, then what you do is you add a box on top. And the bees are just doing what they do. They fill the box up with honey. That's what you can take.
So since I'm new to this and my husband's just exploring this now, so they have to have a certain amount, obviously, for them. So like one box is for them, and then the other boxes per se that they're creating are for something that you can take. Is that basically how it goes?
Do you happen to have the image of the boxes broken down?
Yeah. I'm going to show this up here, everybody. But yeah, I do. We have a whole presentation of wonderful images and pictures because I'm already full of a whole bunch of questions here. Right?
They're amazing.
Right? I mean, and it's super intelligent, you guys. So you guys, this is right. The power of honey. This is amazing. And so I just want to kind of go through this and we'll get this. And I thought this was hilarious. This is the greatest one to start with. Is that what you guys say over there in your phone?
She might.
I might. I'm a little more hick.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That was just cracked me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, Norma, this was a great picture to start off. So, and we got videos for you guys and everything here. But I wanted to go over because Norma sent me so many great things. So if you don't know, right, I love that you gave us some information. So do you know, or did you know, bees watching is a secretly miraculous meditation. As bees dance from flower to flower, absorbing the sun and distributing pollen along the way, they emit a healing frequency that reverses disease and promotes soul and emotional restoration. Our brain may not comprehend this, but our cells do. This is believed to be the reason why beekeepers have one of the longest life expectancies out of all professions. I find this phenomenal. You guys, I have said so many times when God created the bee honey, I mean, it is one of the most miraculous things that we could ever have on this earth. But I did not know that they have the longest life expectancy out of professions, probably because you're eating honey all the time, right?
That also. You can find bed and breakfasts now that have hives built underneath the bed where you sleep. So all night there's that constant bee hum and vibration. And people do it for health and as well as just meditation purposes.
I think that is just awesome. We are learning a lot here today, guys, because I'm telling you, I am so excited about learning all of these kind of things. And I see you guys here too, right? Jumping into the chats and talking about that. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Okay, so that is our first fact there, everybody, right? I love welcoming the bees to the balcony. Yeah, I love the bees. Save the bees, guys, because that is amazing. All right.
80%, I think, of our food is pollinated. 80% or more is pollinated by bees. So if we lose bees, we're in trouble.
Yes, we are. So, this might be a time if you guys are thinking about something well over even, growing a garden, things like this, it might be something that you all want to do because they are so important to our ecosystem and to our lives. From healing to meditation to pollinating all of our food on this planet. It's absolutely amazing what they do. Here's a little life cycle of the bees. It says, so here's the queen lays the eggs, workers feed larvae and seal cells once larva reaches full growth. Look at this. So you can just see how this life cycle goes. I love this too. This right, the bumblebee anatomy. I'm like, what? Is that really what it's called, Nora?
No. It's me being my usual silly self.
Okay. Like, what in the world? So we've got the blee bee here, and of course you've got the bum area. I think you are hilarious, my friend. Oh my goodness. All right. It's that time of season again. Know your bees. Share this. Share this. It's that time of season again. So you have your humblebee, honeybee, your bumblebee. Oh, as we're looking at this, tell us what an Italian bee is and why that is so different.
There's different species of bees, and they have found that these Italian carniolan bees tend to be a little more docile. And that sounds weird, but it's actually true. You can be around the hive, and they just they'll explore around you. They're not automatically thinking of you as a predator, and they'll just attack.
You've all heard of Africanized bees, the ones that are extremely aggressive. You don't want them around you. They will attack almost
everything
without cause. These bees are just the opposite. Now, there's a trade-off, as with anything. Bees that tend to be a little more docile tend to not quite produce as much honey as the wild or more aggressive bees for whatever reason. That's not hard and fast fact, but it tends to be a trend.
Okay.
People need to know the honeybees are not going to go after you in nature. If they're around you, just let them be. If they land on you, let them be. They are not going to get you unless you're threatening their food source or unless you accidentally trap them in an armpit, or if you sit down on them, then unfortunately you're going to find out. Whereas wasps, they tend to be a little more aggressive, and they tend to hurt a little bit more.
Yeah,
right. More like getting a cigarette butt on your arm, very fire-like.
You're speaking from personal experience there, Mark.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry about that, because that would hurt. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that would hurt. I'm not a big fan of wasps. And I have a little cedar little houses that attract them on my porch, and they kind of go in there, and just that's the way it goes, and they're not coming back out. So,
yeah, right.
Right. We're not a fan of that, but I do love seeing the bees, And so, just try to let them be. It's kind of like that with most wildlife, let them be. I love this. So, okay. Carolina honeybees. It's presenting how bees make honey. If you guys don't know, worker bees collect plant nectar. Nectar taken to the hive, the nectar to the honey conversion begins. Ripening the honey, I find that really interesting. Nectar has a high moisture percentage, so honey does not. So bees place the nectar on the honey on the comb and fan wings to remove the excess moisture. So their wings are literally drying out that moisture. I think that's great. And then the honey, of course, is stored in the honeycomb. This is something we talk about a lot on this show, guys. And man, especially if you know Nurse Patrick, if you don't come on Thursdays, he makes so much stuff with honey. It's not even funny. I mean, half of our tinctures are flu remedies, are antibacterials. Honey is so amazing for insomnia, indigestion, coughs, colds, his flu medicine, guys, headaches, fatigue, anemia, acne. You can use honey on your skin. It's amazing for your skin. Ringworm, eczema. It also comes in. Now I have to put inflammation. That's not on here, but inflammation for sure. Yeah. Right? Rich with vitamin B6, riboflavin, calcium, copper, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and zinc. You guys, honey is, I truly say this over and over again, one of God's most perfect foods on this world. And it never spoils. I mean, they have found honey in, old vats and stuff, 3,000 years old, still good. So it's one amazing product for sure. And then again, health benefits of honey, right? It totally helps heal wounds. Have you guys ever heard of Maluka? It's a medical honey. Absolutely helps in weight loss, aids in nourishing your skin, maintains your blood sugar levels. Good for substitutes of sugar. You guys know me. I don't use sugar at all in any of my recipes. I'm always using honey. Good for energy and nutrients. Improves athletic performance. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. And then this is your type of beehives. This is something you could kind of go into a little bit about this, Mark, because you have your own. Did you build your own? Did you buy them? How did you choose which kind you wanted to have?
To start with, we bought some on Amazon. After doing a little bit of research, we've got cedar, and they're very affordable, believe it or not, for the types of boxes we got. We got a Langstroth hive, the one in the top center. That's probably the most common hive you'll see. The boxes you always see out in the large commercial yards, they're of that style. They consists of a larger box on the bottom, which you can kind of perceive there. And that's their home base, basically. That's where the queen is making most of the brood, okay? The box right above it is kind of an accessory living space where they can expand. And then you see a third box above that. That is the box where you can put an excluder, a piece of screen between the two top boxes. And that will allow the honeybees to go through, but not the queen, because the queen is so much bigger than the worker bees.
You don't want her laying her eggs up there. You want them to just make honey. Right.
Otherwise she'll get up there and make more brood up there, and then you can't harvest your honey if there's, a bunch of larvae and bee brood in there. So you just want a frame or a box that just has frame filled with honey only. And that's the purpose of that third box on top. You can add a fourth or a fifth box if you want to, depending on how active your bees are making honey and how long your season is. The wood that we used is cedar in this case. It likes to breathe. It doesn't get too hot in the summer, and it is reasonable in the winter in terms of freezing. They are all lined with wax or coated with wax, which makes the bees more comfortable getting started in there. There are some other components of the bee hive itself. Maybe we can go over when we get the picture.
Okay. And I don't know
if it's there.
Right. Give me 1 second to remove this. And so I can look for your picture, because I don't know if I put them in the right order. I do have pictures of you and Norma with the boxes. Is that the ones you want me to show?
You could do that. Sure. That's how when we got started.
Okay. Because I am looking to see if I have the boxes just by themselves.
It's possible we didn't put it in there.
Yeah, I might have.
All right. So we'll load this one back up. Okay. So this is what I have with pictures of boxes. You're adorable.
Yeah, that's Norma.
I got one of you too. I used them for your promo. I thought you guys were adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
That was our setup on day one. Our original 4 hives. You can see how the boxes look new and they're clean. You can see on the very bottom of each box, there's an opening, a slat. That's the entrance to the hive. During the winter, you can close that down so there's less airflow in and out of the hive to keep the coldness out. You can see we put them off the ground at least 23 to 26 inches to keep skunks away from them. That's your magic number from getting in there.
And ants and other critters.
There's also tarp paper you'll see on the ground. One of the pests that will hurt a beehive are something called hive beetles. Their life cycle is they get in the hive, they invade cells, they will propagate and drop their eggs into the ground. And they have to drop the egg into the ground and mature in the ground before they climb back up into the hive. So by putting tarp paper down there, you break their life cycle and minimize your damage from hive beetles, one of the pests that we have to deal with.
Brilliant. I mean, I wouldn't even never even thought of this. Keep going.
Oh, and the tie downs, each one has a tie down because we get some gusts up there. It's very common near the coast to have 30, 35 mile an hour winds. We've had hurricanes blow through there. So, and in case some critter does want to try and topple a box, at least it's tied down.
Right. Because that was going to be a question too, because I mean, the way I have deer and we have bear here where I am as well too. I mean, obviously, we know at the beginning of the thing, bears love this. And so by tying this down, you're helping to make sure that they don't knock these over. Because I'm assuming You know, I mean, deer love flowers. I don't know if they would love the sweet, but they seem to like, you know, anything that kind of comes that way. So you'd have to absolutely protect that. And have you ever had a large critter come and try to knock these over?
Knock wood, no, thank you.
No.
We do have a friend that has cattle on her property, and they have to enclose it because the cattle will do the same. They'll knock it over, and they like sweets.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. If you guys don't know that, I mean, think about having your animals with sweet oats, right? They're tossed in some molasses and whatever, you know, some sweet feed. My horses and my cattle always loved it. It's one of the ways I trained them. People would tease me because I had my cows learning how to sit like dogs. I'm like,
I love it.
Right, sweet feed. But that's exactly, you're making a huge point though, because of that molasses, that sweetness. Of course, they're going to be attracted to that. Amazing. So yeah, so you would totally have to separate this and probably fence this off if you ever got any other farm animals, I would imagine.
Right.
Amazing. This is so interesting. I am learning so much from you guys. Oh, of course, we had to, of course, include Mark. That's fine. Yeah. Now tell everybody why it's important. Maybe they don't know why it's important that you have to wear a beekeeper suit per se.
They do get, I mean, if they feel threatened, they're going to come after you. And once one bee stings you, it sends out a pheromone for the rest of them to come and protect the hive. And they go for your face mostly. They know animals' eyes and mouth, and that's the main part you want to have covered. And I mean, people actually pay to get their hands and knuckles and stuff stung because it helps with arthritis. And that actually did happen to me. I had an arthritic knuckle that I was picking up one of the hives, and a bee was stuck in between my finger and the hive, and it stung me. The finger swelled up like crazy, but when it healed, the whole arthritic finger was all right. It was gone completely. It was the craziest thing. But anyways, I digress. Sorry.
No, that's awesome. Keep going.
The suits are just a really big help, and they are breathable because in the summer in about 115 degrees, they're not fun. And we actually wear ice packs underneath them in the summertime.
Smart.
They're leather gloves that we wear made out of cowhide, and there's just, I don't know, they help. They're real helpful.
I bet.
We have to inspect the hive to make sure the queen's doing all right. She's laying eggs and looking for healthy brood, looking for parasites and so on. That's why we need the suits. I can walk right up to the hives in my shorts and t-shirt and stare at the bees at the entrance for minutes at a time, and they don't bother. They don't care. But when you open the box and you take the boxes apart and you're lifting frames out to inspect them, they go a little nuts, and if you're not protected, you will find out the hard way. You'll be stung dozens of times. So it's necessary evil.
Yeah. So unless you want to go get rid of your arthritis, right? Which maybe you want to. You guys, that's really interesting. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Like I said, this creation of the bee and what it produces, I mean, it's just one of the greatest creations. In so many different aspects. Go ahead.
People will be charged $25 a sting per sting for knuckles, for example. Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing.
And we've gotten them for free.
For free. Maybe you need to open up a little spa and charge people. Be like, all right, come on in. Baby. But I can see them being completely protective of their home. Yes. No different than us. We're all going to be protective of our home environments, right? And so I can see that. And then obviously, when you're going to actually get honey, again, with the protective suits, because you are now taking something from the hive as well.
Exactly. And they do get, protective when you're taking their honey. And we use a smoker. That's actually the first thing we do. We get out there with that smoker and pipe it around them and help them. It's just soothing for them.
Yeah.
It focuses them on the smoke instead of us. And it actually calms them down a lot. It's just pine shavings.
There we go.
Oh, there's the
right.
Yeah.
There's the box diagram I was talking about.
Awesome.
On the bottom, you see something called the bottom board. We have screen open bottom board. That's a solid bottom board. The screen bottom board, especially in the summer when it's so hot, allows ventilation. The beehive wants to be at 95 to 96 degrees. They like that constant temperature right there. If it's too hot, they'll get around the entrance in a large collection group or cluster, and it's called bearding because it looks like a beard hanging down off of the hive.
Wow.
And they'll fan to actually create air circulation to keep the hive below 96 or 97. The hive body or the brood chamber is the big box on the bottom. That's where their main living quarters is. Now, they put something called a queen excluder between that first box and the other box. We allow 2 boxes for their home for brood, and we put the queen excluder above the second box and put a third box on top, and that's what we collect. That queen excluder is what allows the workers to go through, but not the queen. Then there's a cover on top, and actually between the cover, inner cover and the outer cover, I made a shim of a 1x4 board, and we put a sugar water container inside there, and you can see a little hole on the inner cover. The bees can go up through that hole into the sugar water container, and they can be fed sugar water when there's no blossoms out there, because they need water and sugar, just like water and nutrition, just like any other creature.
Right.
And naturally, bees will go find where their environment is best, and that's why we do all this stuff for the hive. Otherwise, they'll take off like they would in nature. That's why you see swarms everywhere, because they're just going to try and find their perfect environment to help them thrive and make honey. So we try and provide that for them in the individual hives, so they don't leave.
Now, I had a question about the queen excluder. So is it because she's much bigger, and so that's a smaller availability for the worker bees because they're smaller, that they can go through there, and because she's so big, she cannot?
Correct.
Okay. See, you guys, I'm full of it. If you have questions, make sure you drop them in the chat, because, I'm already full of questions, but you guys might have some as well. And hello, all new viewers. You guys are awesome. It is. That's right. Patriot Line is just fascinating bee information, isn't it? I hope you guys all get inspired to think about doing this for yourself as well. And this is why I love our community, because we have some amazing people like Mark and Norma. They're already doing that. You can reach out and ask questions, right? And then also you're with your local bee association. Awesome. That is just really phenomenal. And I probably have these I have to show this real quick. Did you name your thing Green Acres? She's so funny with the bee.
No, we did not.
My sister did that because when we first got the property, as we said, our goal was to have some animals and some vegetables and stuff. And my sister was like, "What? Y'all got some farm property? No way." So it was kind of a joke.
No, I love it. I love it. She's making us smile, guys, with these amazing, amazing pictures here. And I didn't want to miss out on any of these. Oh, this one I want you to explain about, because I don't necessarily know what this is. What are we looking at here?
Oh, that was our original haul. Those are the 4 hives. Those are basically a half a hive called a nook. It contains a queen, 5 frames of brood and honey and pollen. Basically, it's
a starter
half
kit
of a hive. It's a starter pack. And there are 4 of them there. And they're covered in the mesh because they have to be opened to be ventilated. So bees do go in and out. And when we drove from Houston to our place, it's about a 2.5-hour drive. We would have lost half the bees had we not have the netting over them. So that we just included that to show that's what a nook looks like. It's called a nook or a nuke, N-U-C. That's a half a hive. That's the way most people will start because it's a little more affordable than a full hive.
And that's a sugar water bucket to the right there, the white bucket, because we immediately feed them. Once you put them in their new home, you have to get them food and stuff right away because the transportation stresses them out.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys would have thought about having like sugar water. Of course, every animal needs water, and so forth. Is sugared water something that they can eat and sustain themselves with? I did have another question about that too. And I, for some reason, just kind of, it'll come back to me. But I was just kind of really interested. Oh, I do know. You said when it gets too hot. Is that something that you had to like take fans and cool it off? I mean, what happens because like Arizona, for instance, like sometimes it's 115 degrees. How do you cool off your hive if you need to?
That's a good question. We chose cedar because it stays a little cooler, cedar wood, than others. We didn't paint them. Paint will also
Insulate
kind of
the
insulate and let temperatures rise on the inside. We have metal, sheet metal on top of the cover that helps radiate or reflect the direct sun on top of it. And we have the open screened bottom, so it allows air, at least from the bottom, to circulate. Other than that, the bees take care of it.
Yeah.
I will say we're not experts in beekeeping. We're experts in keeping our bees in our environment. And that's the way a lot of people have to think about it. What we tell people right now on this show, for example, may not apply to your location, your area, your particular bees, because your environment may be completely different.
The bees, though, they're pretty efficient at keeping the hive at a certain temperature, though. And like you said, in the summer, they'll beard out and fan and keep it lower than 95, 96. And then in the winter, they'll cluster around the queen and keep the hive warm. It's really amazing. I don't know how they can regulate that constant temperature pretty much.
We had 20 degrees for 4 days in a row here, and all 6 of the hives survived because they had a good population. They were able to cluster together and stay warm. And the bees will cluster around the queen, like she said, and then they'll be rotating from inside to outside so everyone gets to stay warm. And the next week, after temperatures rebounded, we went out there and they're all buzzing around, flying. They're already starting to collect a little bit of pollen. So we were happy. We lost one hive in a freeze last year.
I cried.
Oh, I'm that some way too. I love my animals of all kinds, so I get I get that way too. I'm like, what? And then the work and the effort, and then you don't ever want to lose any of your animals. But you're right. I can totally understand that. I did have a question here too. Okay, so we do have a few questions here for you guys. One thing I guess we'll ask that. Okay, so the first one, Leona, hello, sweetie. She says, do you need to register your hives and have state inspections?
Good question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We do that just to be on the up and up and make sure, because they come out and make sure that you're informed on how to take care of the bees, so you're not just buying something and destroying it.
Well, I'll put it this way. We don't have to register them. You do not need to get a license. There is no additional cost. It's voluntary. Okay. However, you can use beehives to get a property tax exemption up to a certain number, up to a certain number of acres. And if you want that, then you need to be inspected by the state. In Texas, that's the way it works. And it's a simple inspection, a small fee. In other states, it may be different, but I don't think anywhere you have to pay for the privilege of keeping bees.
It's encouraged, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So also, I guess if you're going to actually sell this or have an industry, where you're doing that, it would be more likely that you need to get them registered. If you're just having honey for you and your family,
right,
maybe not so much. And I'm sure that depends on what state, but I think it's kind of like having a garden. Once you start selling that to the public or whatever, just probably something wise. Something you said about the different zones. It's kind of like we all love honey from everywhere. I mean, I love me some orange blossom honey. Absolutely love one of my favorites. But your local honeys is what's going to affect your allergies, your local allergies. So just always know that too. So that's why it's different in your certain zones. It's even, the way honey affects your personal body. I mean, all honey is phenomenal for you. But if you want to get rid of allergies per se, it's great to have some local honey on hand for that. But, and get with your local bee associations, you guys. Absolutely. I'm going to look for something that you guys, I'm sure somebody has a map, because I know when I post these things where to find your local honey, those people, and that's always usually in my descriptions under all these different wonderful links, they would probably know your local bee associations or just look it up. Second question here is, how often do you check on your bees?
When we first got them, we pretty much checked them every weekend just to make sure they were thriving. Yeah. And you want to make sure they start laying eggs and brood, and how's that progressing, because some of the pests that they can get can overtake the hive in 3 days, 4 days, especially when they're a smaller, weaker hive. Once they got larger and progressed a little more, we started spacing out the time that we checked on them. And like you said, we made sure they have sugar water up above the hive to eat if they don't have the proper honey stores. We provide them with a pollen substitute when the flowers and everything starts to die away or in severe drought.
Yeah, now keep in mind, we don't feed them sugar water when we have full blossom during
Correct.
springtime, because they'll take that sugar water and put it in their honey. And we don't want sugar water honey.
Sugar honey.
That's what you can
Really?
get from cheap commercial honey. They use a lot of Caro syrup, and so you're getting Caro syrup honey instead of good local honey. So always look for the local honey. And raw honey tends to be a little bit better. A lot of large honey producers will flash pasteurize the honey. It makes it a little clearer. It may give it a little longer shelf life in terms of crystallizing. But crystallizing honey is no big deal.
Yeah.
It's just more dehydrated, so it becomes crystallized. All you have to do is dip it in hot water. You can add a little distilled water if you want, get it back to a syrupy consistency. But if you don't want to do that, just scoop it out like a little sugar water, put it in your coffee. That's fine. I did want to mention, a lot of people know that we feed them sugar water for their carbohydrate. That's what nectar is. That's their carbohydrate. But they also need pollen. Pollen is their protein. Just like any other creature, you need both carbohydrate and protein to live. So if they don't have either available because you have no flowers out there, then you need to be able to provide both sugar water as a nectar substitute and some form of pollen substitute. And you can buy that commercially in large quantities. It'll last forever.
Awesome. And you guys, I've showed you this before, but we'll show you this again here in a little bit, how to test honey, because it's super important. There's a million ways. One of my favorite ways too is you literally can just put a little water in with the honey and just kind of swirl it around, and it will show you the shape of its hive, right? It has this amazing, like what you guys are looking at behind us, right? It will literally show you this geometric form. And that's a great way to know that you are dealing with real honey, because what you're getting in the store, 90% of it, I promise you, and the cheaper it is, the more it is some kind of corn syrup or chemical induced crap. So stay away from that. Support your locals. That's one thing I love here too. You can drive down the street and you'll see a little sign. It's like local honey. I'm like, oh, stop. Stop. I love it. Okay, we have another question. What type of sugar do you use?
Regular table sugar, granulated sugar. It's inexpensive, and they're going to break it down the way they break it down anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Nice. Oh, nice. Dennis over on YouTube said, I just set my boxes and I use a screen bottom on my hives.
Yep.
And Bright also says, I think my season is 2 weeks behind this year. Well, with all of this kind of craziness that's going on right now with weather, I can see that. So the best time to obviously start your new hives would be spring. Am I right with that?
Yes. Early spring. Give them a chance to build up their honey reserve for the first year.
Now, what do you do if you ever find anything? Because you've talked about having, some kind of like different issues going on inside there. If you've got some kind of bacteria or a plague or bugs or something, what would you do? Do you have to like sacrifice that whole box, that whole hive and start over? How does that work?
Tree pests.
I do know people that have had to sacrifice the whole hive. There's what they call hive beetles, the wax moths, and the mites, the varroa mites. And the mites invade the hive and they take over the larva, and they just decimate all the larvae, and they can do it in a very short amount of time. So what we do is give them what is called oxalic acid. And it's just a little puff of the oxalic acid you puff into their hive, and it goes in there and kills the varroa mites. And that's done in the wintertime, because that's not honey that, that we're going to harvest or anything, but it is honey that they will eat. The wax moths, we actually hang buckets, milk buckets with a type of sugar water with some fruit and stuff in it, and the wax moths will fly down in there and get trapped, because they'll do the same thing. They'll invade the hive and lay all their larvae and replace the bee larvae and eat all the wax and destroy the hive. So that situation, you do have to burn the hive and get rid of it.
Right. Has that happened to you guys? Because you said you lost 2.
One was lost to the freeze last winter, and the other one just flew off.
They swarmed. They were so strong. We knew they were strong, and we said, okay, we got to get another box on there. The next week we went back to put another box on there, all gone. So they outgrew their home, so they needed to find a new home. They took off. They're doing what they do.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh, you guys. Okay, so I want to play a video here. I just think I have them in I don't know what order, but okay, let me see. We got them like video 1. I guess we'll start with that one because I want you to kind of see what you guys they're doing. Let me give me a minute to load this up because you're talking about kind of leaving, and I had a question with this one. So I guess you can answer it because when we're seeing, can you see this here too? Because that doesn't look like a box. It looks like they are somewhere inside of a tree. So I'll play this and then you can tell us about it.
That's a homemade PVC pollen substitute dispenser. Basically, I filled that PVC. It's capped on one end. It's canted down so the rain can't get in it. You put the pollen substitute in there, and the bees will find it, and they just go crazy. They get in there. All 4 hives are just sharing their little time in there. They crawl in there, pick up some pollen, and bring it back home.
Crazy. So is this something that you're doing before winter or to help substitute? When would you, or is this something you have all year round?
Once the flowering is done, it's basically late summer and fall. You don't want to give them too much pollen during the winter because during the winter, their population decreases because they have a certain amount of honey stores and they don't want to be overpopulated and overeat their honey stores because then they'll all die. They actually kick out all the drones, the worker bees, who are all female, by the way. About 90%, 80 to 90% of the hive is probably female, okay? 10% usually is going to be male. Those are the drones. They are worthless, they're useless, except to fertilize the queen when it becomes necessary. So in the winter,
they kick them all out.
They kick them all out. They say, we don't need you here over the winter because you're just going to take resources and you don't provide anything. So they get rid of all the drones. But anyway, during the winter, they want minimum population, just enough to survive the winter. So if you give them pollen, it kind of stimulates the queen to want to make more brood, and you don't want to be making babies during the winter. They don't want to be.
I love it. We got I think that, okay, we got a question here from Pild. Hi, Penny. Says, why does spring honey not crystallize? Do you know that?
Fresh, or any honey, traditional honey that you'll see, syrupy honey, is going to be about 80 to 83% sugar and 17 to 20% water. Once the water content, if by the way, if it's more than 20% water, it may ferment, particularly at room temperature. So if you collect your honey, you need to test it to make sure it is less than 20% water. Cured. Otherwise, cured. That's what they're doing when they're ripening the honey. You'll see on the picture behind in the background, you see some white cap on top of some of the hives. That's you could consider that capped honey. That's cured. It could also be brewed, but it's hard to tell in that picture. In any event, if your honey dehydrates, it'll just start to crystallize, and like I said, it's no big deal. It's the same components inside there. It's not spoiled. It's not bad. You can still use it as a sweetener, and it has all the nutritional value that honey should have, as long as you don't heat it too much.
What we learned in the very beginning, though, too, is it was explaining that they use their wings to help take out some of that moisture, too. So they are literally actively trying to take out some of that moisture in the honey as well, because it is very liquidy in the very beginning.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, what they have found, and I can look for that story, but they found, like, in vats, big, huge vats. I believe in Egypt that was 3,000 years old, and it might have been crystallized, but it was still good. So just really interesting here. All right, I have another wonderful little video here for us because I have questions. I do. I'm like, okay, so I expect them to live in the box in this one, right? They are literally taking over a tree. So tell us about this one.
That was at my niece's house. That's actually a swarm. So these bees are in the process of trying to find a new home. So they found this tree and they're actually just resting. And when they gain their energy, they will take off and try and find a tree hole or something to, or somebody's attic to build their new nest, their new hive.
That
We
is
try to
crazy.
rescue them there if we can and make a new
Right.
hive. We've done it once and it wasn't successful, but it's something we'd like to keep trying.
That's something I was going to think about, or now that you brought that up too, is like, can different groups of bees, whatever, a congregation of bees, can they even intermingle? You know, and will they accept in like a new crew, or they're like, yeah, no, you're not part of the family, you're out of here?
Yes.
And no.
When you have a weak hive, you can take a frame from a strong hive, you lift it out, bring it over to the weak hive, and plop it in there. As long as it has brood, and even some of the nurse bees, they will be accepting of that new frame. The nurse bees there tend to be accepted, and when the brood comes out of the cell, they will be part of that hive. So yes, you can mix.
But they won't broods. Fly from hive to hive usually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, really, go ahead.
Oh, they'll know if one hive is trying to scavenge from another hive, they will be protective of it. They have little guards at the entrances of their hives.
That's awesome. They got the soldier, they got their soldiers up front protecting their hives. That's awesome. I mean, everything about this is great. As you're saying, we're on YouTube that you had in Arizona. I had a friend, I'm glad you brought that up, that they got to the attic in Arizona. I had a friend and they didn't know necessarily, but they could kind of hear something. But all of a sudden there was honey dripping out of the walls. And they're like, I think we've got some bees in our house. I'm like, how did you not know? Could you not hear? But that's just crazy. Yeah. They will go and find a place to call their new home. Mm-hmm. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's see. In Nepal, they have hallucinogenic honey. I don't know what that is.
The mad honey. There's something called mad honey, and it depends. It has to do with a certain flower that the bees get their pollen from, and it's not like a psilocybin or anything. It's more like an opiate.
But the components of honey are, of course, the sugar, the water, and then you have all the phytochemicals, the plant chemicals. There are hundreds of thousands of plants out there. They can all have dozens of chemicals that get incorporated into the pollen, and the bees take them and eat it. And evolution has allowed healthy things to happen, to interact between flowers and bees. So the pollen chemicals, the chemicals in the pollen that the bees take, tend to help the bees thrive. And so the cycle will continue. Well, we can benefit as on the side by taking that honey and ingesting those same chemicals. And there's a long list of chemicals that we kind of went over. I don't know if we went over it yet, but a lot of minerals. They actually, honey is actually acidic at about a pH of 4, which is one reason it helps with healing wounds, along with honey containing hydrogen peroxide, another reason it helps heal wounds. And it also is good in antioxidants. So
it's an antibacterial as well too.
Yeah.
So when Nurse Patrick makes his honey and garlic concoction, guys, he used that. He had a toothache and he used that. It can be used, for so many things, but it's a really amazing antibacterial. So that is some great things. I mean, there's so many things that honey works for, like you said, skin, and for inflammation, and for antibacterials. It can work for an antifungal. It can work for so many great things. I mean, it's truly an amazing thing that God has created here. It's just phenomenal. And I just love how this whole story of how, the hive acts and behaves and protects its own, and, how we take care of it. Everything about this is fascinating. And we got new viewers, you guys. Just if you have any questions, just pop them in, because we love to hear them. All right, next video. I've been loving these. Man, love these. Okay, I have a question about, because this is probably, nervous when you're going to collect the honey. Especially your very first time. I don't know, but look at this, guys. Wow. You want to pull them out? Look at that. They're not happy.
No.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we wear the suits.
Right? And there's your fogger, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the fogger. Yeah, the smoker.
You gotta be gentle.
That was just a deep dive into the hive, just taking a look at the health of the hive. Those were some of the frames, and we were pulling them out and taking a look at them.
It was an accidental honey also. I mean, it wasn't time to harvest the honey yet, and we just happened to break down the hive, and there was just that
There's
big
excess comb
honey.
with honey in it, so we just took it. We got a pound out of it.
Wow.
And
So
of
how do
course
you know?
Yes.
How do you know when it's time to harvest the honey?
Good question. When your blossoms are done,
Yeah,
basically.
the nectar flow stops.
Yeah, when the nectar flow, the honey flow, they call it, stops. They are not going to be making any more honey after that point. So you open your top box and you look at the honey, and hopefully it's all capped, which means it's cured, which means it's at that proper water level where you can take it.
You can also get one of the hive frames and shake it, and if it comes down like rain, it's not cured enough.
Yeah, it's too liquidy.
Yeah, it's a shake test.
Right. Hence why you're checking on things at all times to see. Yeah. Amazing. Looking for any kind of infestations. You're making sure that it's ready. You're making sure that they have, substitutes, and things like that. So I would imagine the queen bee, if she can't get to the sugar water, she is just basically surviving off the honey that's in the lower layers, right?
Correct.
They feed her too. They take care of her all the time.
They take care of her.
It must be a great life.
The queen bee. I mean, where do you think we get that phrase, right? I think that is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. So you guys, I'm going to take you a little bit. Whoops, not to there. Cancel that. Sorry. Wrong tab. Because this is really beautiful. This is just some of the amazing, wonderful beauty that Norma gets to live around. Now, when you bought this property, did you notice that it had this, these are wildflowers? Are you throwing out seeds? I mean, this was already there. Tell us a little bit about these pictures.
All native. We did not look at the property when it was in full bloom. No. So we were just a little bit lucky there.
Wow.
South Texas in full bloom, you always get a great wildflower
it's beautiful.
bloom.
Look,
These are just various pictures of the
Just different
variety that we have on the area.
Right. And this is
poppy.
this is when I emailed her. I'm like, I am tasting wildflower. And she's like, she didn't show me the pictures, but she's like, yeah, you totally caught that one. I'm like, right? Because they are so, completely all around you. They're beautiful. Wow.
We're lucky. We actually have, that's full blossom in the springtime. Yeah. Just carpeted with flowers. Wow. We're lucky. We have a second blossom in October and November of one type of flower called the gay feather. It looks like a rosemary with purple flowers all over it, and the bees are on it the whole time.
They love it.
We have tried to see if we could get a second
fall
honey harvest, but they haven't produced enough with that. What it does is it helps increase their stores for the winter, which is why we had really good success this year. We had a good gay feather blossom in November. It helped them bump up their stores and get over the winter.
You guys are just living in wildflower heaven.
Oh, there's the bees in the corner.
The beehives in the upper corner there.
And so how far do you have to have them away from the house? Is there a certain privacy zone? Because if you had them too close, it would interfere.
Oh, a lot of people say 100 yards is good enough from your living conditions. But in the city, as long as every city may have different rules, but as long as they're maybe 20 yards or 20 feet from your neighbor's residence, then you can keep a hive in the city in some cases.
Amazing.
No walking barefoot.
I know what barefoot is in your property. Right? I kind of agree with that. I'm like, man, especially with them just flying around checking out all these wildflowers. Yeah, that might not be the greatest idea. I love that, Cass. That's funny. But you mentioned something about what your cities and what will allow and what they won't allow. When I was in New York City, guys, I was in Manhattan for graduate school and living in the family dorms, right? And so it's really crazy because just down the street, the college had like a little place where they were raising chickens and eggs and things like that. But I had no idea that you could even have them. The people next to me in the dorm literally set up a chicken house so they could have fresh eggs every single day on their porch. I was like, that's allowed? I'm like, wow, that's way cool. So you guys, if you can have chickens in your, in your dorm patio, who knows what you can have if you're in the city and you can have hives and things like that. I mean, you guys got to kind of look and see what you can do, because that's a really great idea. It's not, I have to have all this land to have this. So if you guys are out there going, oh, I couldn't do this because, I live in a city, guess what? That might not be the case.
If you happen to have, if you happen to be a gardener and you have a really nice garden, boy, it would be a huge addition if you've got one small hive. You can get different size hives. We have 8-frame hives instead of what would be considered typical 10-frame hive.
So that I can lift them.
Part of it is they get very heavy. They get up to 50 pounds. And if you need to move these things and lift them to check them, at least heavy. Norma can do that by herself.
Right. Now, do you need to have more than one hive? Is there a reason that somebody would just, if you just want for yourself, is one hive enough? Is there a reason that you might need 2?
We did that mainly for survival purposes, because they say that when you first start out, there's a 50-50 chance of losing the hive. So we just increased our chances by getting 4.
Nice. And yeah, look at this beautiful butterfly. I'll tell you what, why you're not putting these, right, Nora, why you're not putting these in the artist corner is beyond me, because you sent me these photos and we love photographers, and I'm like, why have I never seen this in the corner? So I'm going to tell you, please put your photos in the corner, because this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Okay. Oh, you guys are asking me a question about my chickens. Yes, I love chickens. I have chickens, and I go out there and I sing to them and I speak to them in a certain voice, and they know my voice and they know they love me. I can hold them. I can pet them. And I don't think I have a favorite song, but I'm just like, kind of just humming and whatever. And they stop and they listen and they love it. So I don't know.
I sing to the bees.
See? I sing to my cheesecakes when I'm making them. My staff used to think I was crazy, and they're like, I would talk to them, okay, you're not going to break today, and I'm singing, you're going to be the greatest cheesecake ever, and they're like, what are you doing, chef? I'm like, oh, it's funny.
It works.
It does. These are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Great photos. Oh, look at this.
That's the gay feather that blooms only in late October and November, in the fall.
Wow.
The picture doesn't do it justice, though. It's just this vast purple. I mean, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And so this is like their last chance for pollen for the year. I always love that. It seems like every spring there's like a certain color that comes out. I was like, so what's the color of the year? And it's really interesting because there's going to be one color that pops out first. And at least, everywhere I've been, whether it's Arizona or here, and you're like, oh my gosh, purple's going to be the theme this year. And it seems like, it's a nice little close to the season with this amazing, beautiful purple field. Wow. You guys go out here and picnic and have a good time?
Too many varmints and insects out there to picnic out. So we do it on the patio. Yeah.
Do it on the patio. Nice. I love that. All right. So let's look at another one of your amazing videos here. Okay. Which one is this? You guys, they did so well. I thank you so much for all of this stuff that you've sent to me. This is awesome. All right. So here is another one.
This is a slow motion video of the bees going in and out of a hive entrance. If you look closely, you'll see little saddlebags of yellow, orange on their hind legs. That's the pollen they're carrying into the hive. I don't know if you can tell closely if you look at their back legs.
You can see how clumsy they are, actually. They're really funny, and they're so fun to watch.
Do you have them named yet, Norma?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just teasing you. But you're right. She's already just in love with them. She's like, they're clumsy and they're so fun to watch. I'm glad that you're enjoying this, though. And you're noticing things that most people might not even pay attention to, right? I'm sure they have a little bit of a personality that you might detect every once in a while. And, as they're just flying around. Wow.
And you can tell by the hum of the hive if they're angry or not. When we're walking around, like he said, and we're not messing with them, they have this real comfortable, low hive. When they're angry, it escalates and gets real high pitched. And I swear they get around your face and they sound like they're complaining. I mean, it's really, it's hilarious.
Right? And they're telling you off. How dare you come into my home? I mean, I kind of think about it in like, our point of view. If somebody was coming to intrude in our home and come and stealing our stuff and whatever, we'd be all shouting, get out of here, whatever, they're just basically telling you off, and their little high-pitched screaming voice. But that is so interesting to know about all of this kind of their characteristics, the way they sound. And yeah, exactly. Those are heavy loads on their legs. That's right. That's right. I wonder sometimes, like, how much is too much pollen for them to carry? Because sometimes they look like they're really weighted down. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. All right. So the next one here is the production of this. So let's show this. Look at this.
All right. This is basically a frame of capped honey. So the cap is wax that they put over the top of the cured honey. So we scrape that off and you can see the honey coming out with it. Underneath is the honey in the deeper set honeycomb or the foundation. We do it over this bin, which collects the wax. The wax is almost as valuable as the honey in terms of products you can produce with it. Of course, candles are nice, but lotions and balms and lip balm, things like that, that's also really nice. Great fire starter also. If you're wiping or cleaning paper towels with wax, you keep that paper towel, you throw it in the fireplace, it's going to be a great fire starter for you. But anyway, so we can collect the honey at the bottom of the bin. That bin has got a great screen on the bottom, so the honey will drip through the screen. So we collect the wax on top, the honey's down below, and then the frame with the leftover honey, we put it in a large centrifuge and you spin it. You can do it electronically or manually. We just do it manually because it doesn't take that long. It's not that much work. So we get rid of all that. We siphon that honey out in the extractor or the centrifuge, and then collect that also. So we get honey from both areas.
I am just in heaven watching this. And I'm so glad. Are you guys using the wax? Do you actually use it for things like your balms or fire starters? Obviously, you're saving it. Do you find purpose for that yet?
Oh yeah, we're getting there. That is another whole learning experience, and it's really messy. So we just haven't. We have 3 bags of wax that we have yet to utilize, but we're ready. We're ready. We've got all the equipment now. It's just a matter of getting it together and doing it.
That is so awesome. I mean, if you guys, there's some people that just came back. We're just going to watch this one again because, man, I mean, this is just me in like heaven. I can't wait for Nurse Patrick to start this. I don't know how much I'm going to do with this. He's like, I don't see. I'm like, once you bring this part to me, I'm fine. But I don't know if I want to be. My brother is deathly allergic to it. So I would have to be tested as well. But he's allergic to bees. But this is my heaven. You guys know how much I love honey. This is just heaven to me. Look at that.
I was told I was allergic to bees since I was a child. And I got stung in the ear and I swelled up pretty bad. There's actually a blood test. You can go and if you want to pay for it yourself, just pay for it yourself. It's not that bad. And it'll tell you if you're allergic and how allergic you are to bees. And I found out I was not allergic to bees.
Look at that. Wow. That is so awesome. Right. Oh, you're so funny, Bee traffic. That's right. I am just sorry to show this to you guys, but I am in heaven. I am absolutely in heaven. As much as, I mean, you can ask JJ. I have been talking about honey for 3 years now. We're a little over 3 years now for this show, guys. And it is just the most wonderful thing in the world to me. Wow, how much fun is this? You guys having a good time with this? Yeah, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay, let's see. Go ahead. I think I have one more
comment. I like that comment about having a great appreciation for the cost of your local honey. This is like a winery. There's an old saying: you want to make $1 million in a winery, invest $10 million. It's the same with honey. It is unless you're going to do large production, it's going to be a while before you make money off of honey production.
Yeah, and it depends on where you're getting honey, guys. I mean, from my local people, I mean, I can get a quart of honey for $12. So, and try finding that in a store. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it is amazing. And they've been doing it for a really long time. Hence why I support them. And I'm in there. I need my half a gallon, because you guys know how much I cook with it. Right. And what we're doing it for our tinctures and our things that we can and save for throughout the year, from our cold medicines to our garlic and honey. But they're like, well, we've been doing this, that's why my husband said, that they would, if you want some, let us know, and we'll kind of get you stuff with the starter kit. And they've been doing it since, like generations. So I just really love that. But, there are some places where it's really expensive. Honey from Hawaii is really expensive. But another great reason to try this, and others support your locals, right? I don't know how much you guys are going to be doing, but I'll tell you what, their honey is phenomenal. I can't wait to sit there and say, okay, how can I buy some for next year, Norma? Because I am super excited about that. You're ready? He's ready. So when can we start saying that you guys are up for business so that we can start promoting you? Because I will put a link on, and JJ will make a video. And
hopefully this spring.
Hopefully.
All right.
6 thriving hives. We're going to have to add the top box next weekend. Yeah. We checked them last week coming out of winter, and what we consider coming out of winter. And here in South Texas, we actually started new leaf production, and we're about 10 days ahead of traditional spring. So March, we're about ready for full spring. So and looking at the hives, they are 80% full right now. And if we let them get more full than that, they're going to take off. They're going to swarm and find a new home. So we're going to add boxes on top this weekend just to play safe. We don't want another swarm, lose another one.
Right. This is another reason why I love this community, because we're all about supporting each other. And look at that, $40 a quart in California. Yeah. Right. Like crazy.
You're $12 a quart. That's a great price.
It is. And I'm really thrilled with that. So, I mean, but you never know. I don't know. I'm not here to say what Mark and Norma are going to charge, but I don't think that they would charge $40 a quart. I don't know. But right. So this is why we have these kind of people. This is why I love having you guys on the show, because whether, you're artists or you're doing something in your community, because this is what we're doing and we're building on this show, is a community where we can support each other and we can highlight each other, and we can, because who in the world can afford $40 a quart, right? And then no wonder you guys are eating the sugar crap. Yeah. Right? You need to move. Come on over. Look at that. It's pretty standard to get honey for $10 a pound where Leonis is. A pound, right?
That's right.
$10 to $12 a pound is what they'll sell here.
See?
A pound is considered one of your traditional little honey bears or bottles that you get out of the store. That was a pound that we sent you, Lady Hamilton, just one of our containers.
Okay. Right. And I'll tell you what, that's what they're charging for the corn syrup crap in the store.
Yeah.
When you can even just shake the bottle and it's liquidy like that. I mean, usually there should be like some big, huge bubble and it moves really slowly. But if you can almost just kind of turn it, right, like a lava lamp or something, there's something wrong with that. It's been watered down, or it's corn syrup, or who knows what it is, guys. But the chemicals that are in our crap and our food, I just don't trust it. And you guys, if you haven't heard that story before, those things almost took my life out. And thank heavens for these naturopathic ways. And cutting all this kind of stuff out. I mean, really, truly has saved my life, starting with the amazing power of honey. So, I go through a lot. So, but I'm always doing these shows for you guys. Like, what am I cooking today? Honey for this. In fact, I just made those muffins that I was showing you guys with the bananas, honey, and eggs and peanut butter. I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So it is just a really big importance here. And yes, we are going to put them as soon as they're ready and they can give me a link, and we'll make them a little video. We will start showing them off so you guys can reach out and support them, because that's what we all need to do for each other. Right?
Thank you, lady.
You're welcome.
Thank you
It's
very
my
much.
pleasure. My pleasure. Last one video here. And so this must just be on your porch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that.
We had just harvested the honey. We had some honey dripped around, and the bees find it, and they'll just pick it up. That's free food for them. But what's cute is when it gets close up, and you can watch their little tongues lapping it up, just like a dog.
The flies there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming. So you just dripped it for them so that they could come. Okay. Nice. Nice. Look at them. And so are you guys just filming this with your camera, just sitting there watching them, or how far away are you from this?
Right.
No, very close. Right
Yeah.
there.
Right there.
We're right there.
They won't mess. I used to get petrified when a bee would just land on me. And now that I'm so used to them, you know, they'll land on me and I just keep doing what I'm doing and they fly off.
Wow. That is so cool. That is amazing, everyone. I just think this is awesome. So, you know, I am so thrilled, you know, that you're on here and that you guys are doing this. Congratulations for this, you know, venture in your life. And obviously it's working well for you. Did you ever feel like, okay, after like, especially like the first year or when you lost a hive, do you feel like, okay, why are we doing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really sad to lose that hive. And like you said, you get attached to them mainly a lot of the reason because you're putting so much work into it.
Right. But I want to keep going.
Yes.
Obviously. I'd like to get up to 10 hives. That would be nice.
Oh, wow. We are definitely got to get you guys going in business. I'm kind of laughing about this over on YouTube. A couple of years ago, you would hear me say how much she loves honey, and she thought I was talking about my husband. No, I always refer to my husband as Patrick, but no, I love honey. It's one of the things that truly has saved my life. I mean that, guys. You know, I was really, really sick. So it helps with detoxing. It helps with, like, I can't stress enough with the inflammation was one of the things that my body was really kind of going through, you know. It is literally one of God's most perfect foods in so many forms and ways. And it's amazing that you guys are venturing into this. You know, I think you're just doing God's work. That's why you're saving the bees. You're helping with the community. You know, you're creating one of the most beautiful products on earth. I love that. I can't wait to see you start. I don't know how we could help you, but I'm like, when she starts, we're going to have Norma's beauty products here, you know, her skin creams and her balms and whatever. I'm like, that's going to be a really amazing adventure. I love this. I love this. So what would you tell everybody as we're kind of finishing up? You know, I always love to finish with inspiration. So I'll let you guys have the last minutes here of talking about, you know, what you do, some of the most important things you might want to go over again, and then how you would inspire some others.
Number one, if you're going to try this, it's very rewarding, but it's going to be a little more work than you think of, than you bargained for in the beginning. Get educated first. Yeah. YouTube has tons of great information. Start as beginner beekeepers. Look at the information. After a while, after looking at it, a lot of people are going to say, no, I don't think I can do this. For a various number of reasons. They may not have the right space. They may not have enough time. That's fine. There are people that are minimalists with their beekeeping. There are others that intervene way too often, in my opinion. We like to let nature take its course, and we just like to check on them and make sure they're not going south. Other than that, there's one other thing I wanted to mention, and I know it's going to be the bearer of bad news. A lot of people do think that adding honey to hot products like coffee will get the same health benefits. But once that honey gets over 100 degrees, you start to lose the health benefits. All the enzymes and certain proteins that are the health, they will denature. The best example is boiling an egg. You change that yolk from clear to white. You can't unboil an egg. It's the same with the proteins in honey. So if you want all the best health benefits of honey, keep it at around below 100 degrees.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree with that. That is something that, you know, Patrick says as well too. And it's, you know, like the flu medicine that he makes, we call it that, but it's literally jam-packed with, your turmeric and your ginger and your honey, your cinnamon, all this. It's like a multivitamin. So if you really want to get that, I mean, or you could just take a teaspoon or whatever of regular honey, local honey, whatever, if you're fighting off allergies. But it's unbelievable what it does. But you're right. As soon as it gets to a certain extent, even when you want to warm it up, sometimes, maybe you want that last drop from the jar or whatever, like seconds, guys. I mean, or just dab it into some hot water, the jar into some hot water real quick, because as soon as that warms up, even in your jars, you're going to start losing that ability. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's an important thing to learn. But, it's still way, way better for you guys to have your honey in your coffee than any sugar products. So
sure.
Enjoy the sweet taste. I can't even imagine. And my husband had so much of a hard time, because before all this, guys, I was like, sugar substitutes and all kinds of crazy chemicals, everything, to do with that. I mean, even in the restaurant, when we had with Atkins was big and diabetics would come in, and I would make things with Equal or Splenda and stuff so that they could have those as well too. Well, it took him forever, and I would only have like a couple packets in my coffee, and I'm like, I can't, but now there is no way. I go to restaurants now too and ask, do you have honey? And you'd be really surprised how many restaurants actually have honey for my coffee. So,
we've made your flu remedy before. We love it.
It worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Isn't it crazy? Frosty was just saying that the other day. You guys, it's unbelievable. I mean, I remember, when he first made that too, and then him being the nurse, he's always bringing crap home, and not often do I get it, but I got RSV last year, right? And within a day, I was really bad for a day, and he's like, you got to take that honey stuff, and Frosty was just sick, same thing. And a day or so later, you're like, what the world? What in the heavens? Seriously, it's amazing. Our Creator is amazing. He knew everything we were going to need and put here on this earth for us to be able to survive and thrive. And this is one of the most perfect things ever to be on here. Where do you find your flu recipe, honey? I will grab that, guys, for you. Yeah. I might even have a little video I can still, if it will play, I can show you that as well. But I will find that and post that here too. And this is new info for me. I'm so glad that you are here, PK. That is awesome. Right? I'm glad, because you guys, we've been talking about honey for a long time, but it's so great to have somebody on here literally doing this, someone we can physically support, part of our wonderful community, and we love you. Any last words that you want to say to anybody before we say goodnight to you guys?
I didn't see JJR in the chat tonight, but I wanted to give him a shout out, because when we first got onto Truth, Norma's account got hacked. And she was treated so poorly, except by one person, JJR, who was so civil to her and very helpful. And I just wanted to thank him for that. But unfortunately, he's not here. But at least I could give him the thumbs up.
Well, yes, and I'm sure he'll watch this later. He is actually volunteering every year. Since his kids were in school, he would help with the productions of the drama department. And he does so well, with his videos, right? He does so well. They ask him and invite him back every year. So he was so sad to miss it, but he's out there doing great work of giving his time, and we just love him for that so much. So I will make sure to also put a little note when we share out the show at the end. Everyone, don't forget to like and share this out, because this information needs to go everywhere. We'll do a little shout out to JJ so he makes sure that he gets to see this as well.
Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
And thank you, Lady Hamilton, for having us on. Much obliged.
It's absolutely my pleasure. I love it, you guys. You are wonderful. They're always in the chats with us, everyone. It's one great big family, and it's absolutely my honor. And I look forward to when you guys literally let me know, and we will get you out there for our whole community to see.
I thought of you this morning in Mass because the sermon was about being the light.
Oh, thank you. I love it, right? That's my saying, guys. I mean, every single day, be the light. Because, we can sit here and focus on, and it is. There are some negative things that we need to focus on, but we need to be the light and make a change. And I think our little community is going to make some headway here. And I'm excited. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm super excited. You made my day. I love you guys. And thank you so much for being here. And they might pop into the chat so they can discuss it. If they do, make sure everyone tells them how awesome they are. And I love it. Come back. Hey, when you're ready to announce too, come back, even if it's just for, a few minutes, so that we can we'll have a video, we'll promote you. We'll make sure that everyone in the world knows who you are.
All righty.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Good night, my friends. Wasn't that awesome? So now I'm sitting here looking for that video. Oh, okay. They're so awesome. I'm looking for that video. Let me find if it's on my flash drive, guys, because I have these amazing little and I'm looking here, guys, so you can see this. Do I have it? Nurse Patrick's remedy. And so give me 1 second and hopefully I can pull that real quick. Sometimes you guys call, oh, there it is. I found it. So 1 second. Lady Hamilton tonic, and I got just moved that here to the desktop. I thought for sure we'd have that. Okay, so didn't you guys really enjoy that? That was so much fun. That was so much fun, and we learned so much in such a small amount of time. That's right. Aren't they the greatest? I agree. They are so wonderful. And it's, yes, thank you for sharing the bee wisdom. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so is it going to take forever to get it on here? So I'm looking to see if it moved or not. So let me see if I can get that loaded up here for you guys. I will find the video here for you. So let me, oh, no, it's taking 6. Okay. I will have to find the video or the tonic. So let me get to my email. I know you guys want this recipe. It's super simple. And Nurse Patrick literally has talked about his flu thing, and we give out this recipe all the time. There we go. I found the recipe at least, and it comes with honey, turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, and black pepper. Now, black pepper is really important because that helps motivate all the other things. And I'm dropping that in the chats for you guys right now, that recipe. I was hoping to have that video up. Oops, that won't let me do it over there on YouTube. Sorry, too many words. Okay, so you guys have it in Rumble and you have it in pills. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the permanent chat here too, so you guys can have this recipe. And we just call it Nurse Patrick's flu remedy. And there you guys have that for always. So if you're watching this at a later time, it'll be in the permanent chats so you guys can have it. It is unbelievable. And he makes it in like quart form. You know, we do. And I take it. It's more than just a flu remedy. It's totally something that I take like a multivitamin every day. You got cramps, a turmeric will help with that. You know, you're not feeling well, you got allergies, it will work for that. So, you know, tonight, Nurse Patrick had a headache. What do you think he went to? He went straight to the flu remedy. And it was unbelievable. And so it just works for so many things. So you guys go check that out. She was nervous. She did so well. She did so well. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are telling her how wonderful she did. Okay, I do have a video here about honey purity tests. So let me load this up for you guys. So there is a little video for you guys. So I don't know why I was trying to type in, maybe because I commented, it gave me a little fuss there. So, okay, there we go. I was saying a thank you to PK, who's telling me, she's like, a little FYI, Lady H's recipe works wonders. Thank you so much. I think that was so great. And yes, they did do a wonderful, wonderful job. All right, guys. So before we switch over and I announce what's going on the rest of the day, I always love to do this every single Sunday. If you're new to the shows, normally we do the cooking portions where I share recipes of me cooking. So on Thursdays, Nurse Patrick talks about certain things, and then I try to cook stuff to show you guys how to make wonderful, wonderful foods with amazing recipes, with, you know, bringing that heart back to the kitchen. And so it was a special guest to have honey makers on here tonight. Thank you so much, Norma and Mark. I appreciate that. I loved it. And then we always go, so we feed your body and then we feed your soul. So we always do the second part here too, but we always divide that with this amazing gift that was given to me. It's called the Be Blessed Prayer. I love handmade things and gifts. And my neighbor just gave me this beautiful index card because she's like, when you want to pray for others, one of the best things to do is, because we don't know what we're going through, what you're going through, you don't know what I'm going through. And she gave me this beautiful card about prayers for others. It's one that I include every single day with my personal prayers because I truly pray for you guys every single day. So we are going to play that right now, and it's called the Be Blessed Prayer. Isn't that the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen? I love that prayer. Amen, 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 amen. No, we're not. We're going to stream. You know, I'm not playing any videos normally. I might have some or whatever. We're not today. I guess the feeding your soul part today would be about community. I've talked about this a lot, but I am so grateful, and the attitude of gratitude. You know, there's so many little things I say here, guys. Be the light. That is definitely one I can encourage you guys to do, and building a beautiful community, which we are doing here, and how grateful I am for that. You know, I didn't even know I was going to do a podcast, even though God was bothering me to do so. And then I was still ignoring that. And then he went after my husband. I think you're supposed to do a podcast. You're supposed to tell people how you almost died, and tell people about, you know, bringing this back, start, you know, a group. And that's why I love Artist Corner so much, because it is truly turned into a family. And you don't have to be an artist to join that, because they are sharing so amazing, amazing talents every day. And every single morning when I get onto social media, that's the first place I go to see the beauty of the day and have that absolute attitude of gratitude for their wonderful connections, the comments that they share, people who are even artists, or even, and it's just huge discussions. And then yet with the podcast and having you guys all here, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this amazing community. And it's things like tonight is another reason why I'm so grateful for this, so that we can support each other, that we can literally promote each other. And so you're like, hey, I know a honey guy, right? Or, hey, I know a whatever guy. And after the show in the permanent chats, I have a link of all these amazing people that are creating great things, you know, from soaps. I love the goat farm, right? From soaps, shampoos, and moisturizers to now we're going to add in Norma and Mark with their amazing honey as soon as we can. Where can you find your local honey? Where can you find your local beef? Where can you find your local flour? I mean, all these things that I've been able to find for you guys. But I love you guys so much for being here and just lighting up my world. It means so much to me. So community is everything. Right? Be connected to each other. You never know when there's another bad thing down the road. You never know when great things are down there. So you can be there in comfort and you can be there to cheerlead, but community is everything. It's the family. Friends are the family we make along the way, are they not? And so that is my encouragement to all of you guys tonight is, you know, community and how important that is to me and how grateful I am for every single one of you guys. And you just make my day so much. So a huge thank you for that and being part of my world and allowing me to be part of yours. So tomorrow, so worldview, I've got it is let the good times roll. You know, sometimes I do news, sometimes I just don't. Tomorrow is going to be all good news. I have been storing up fun clips from around the world. We're just going to have a great time and be streaming just on our Rumble X and Pills, but it's going to be so awesome because I have been storing up so many amazing things from like dogs to music to funny little clips to stories of humanities and rescues. And I mean, just a wonderful feel-good show. We all need that about right now. And so you guys, please join me tomorrow for my Worldview show. It's the last show of my week, right? And then we're back on Thursday through Mondays at 7 p.m., right? All different kinds of things back with Nurse Patrick. He's already got his topic going, so I'm excited for that. But tomorrow, we're just going to have some fun together. And I will even allow you guys to bring some clips and stuff, and you can post them in the chat if you guys got some good, fun, great clips or stories of humanity, because that's what I want to leave you guys with tomorrow is a really wonderful day and just really great to realize the beauty in this world. And together, everyone, we can be the light. Here's another one I really love here, too. It's like in a world full of roses, be a sunflower. Right? I think that is awesome. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Rick and John. I couldn't agree with you more. Whoops, just lost you guys. Sorry about that. I was trying to copy that so I could put that into the chat. But this is what he says. I don't know how you found us, my friend, but I am so happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome. And any new viewers, make sure you join and put the alerts on so you know about the shows. But in today's world, we need feel-good information. Yes, amen to that. Amen to that. I couldn't agree with you more. That is why we're doing that tomorrow. Super exciting. That's right. Good news. Exactly, Frosty over there. Good news day. And I have so many. I don't know how long we're going to go, but we're going to go through my little bookmarks and we're just going to have a good time together and enjoy. You know, you guys find your favorite song. I would love to know what that is. And we might throw some of those little videos in between too. So you guys have a little bit of homework for tomorrow. Find your favorite song and let's go back and take a little trip through, you know, good times and memories. I would be real excited to know what those are. All right. So tomorrow, like I said, Worldview, let the good times roll. And that will be the end of my week. What a way to end the week on a high note and fun times. I hope you guys all join me tomorrow. But before we go, one thing we always play here is our amazing JJR's wonderful video. We love you so much, JJ. You are definitely missed. And thank you so much for all that you do for me. But this is one thing that we can always do, guys, and that is put on the armor of God.
Put on your armor and fight. Hear the cries of the crusaders. Show them what we're made of.
God gave us light, but somebody hit the breaker. Lost in the dark till I met my maker. Fighting for peace while I'm here on God's acres. Love thy neighbor. I don't even hate haters. They say don't be violent in the face of my traitors. We can talk about it later. My savior came in flipping tables. I'm a crusader. My heart is my anchor. The angels are crying and smearing their makeup. You dance with the devil. I march to their cadence. Feeding my kids with the fruits of my labor. I paid all my payments. I'm all out of patience. So save all your statements. You say from your basement. I stand on the pavement and fight for my people against you dictators.
The cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. I put my armor on. Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of.
I stand for what's right, even if I stand alone. I'd rather be losing this battle than winning while fighting for something that I know is wrong. Known all along, I have a purpose. Gotta reach my people. Ain't no common ground on the battlefield that we're standing on. It's a war going on of good and evil. I'm a crusader. Screaming my prayers. I'm hoping that God hear my word and find favor. Speaking my truth and my tongue is a razor that open the wounds that the devil disabled. I'm standing in light, so the darkness around me, my heart keep on pounding, the trumpets are sounding. I'm not backing down and they counting me out, but I just keep on counting.
The cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. I put my armor on. Hear the cries of the crusaders, show them what we're made of. God is has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and light and of a sound mind.
Put your armor on. I'm always singing that song in the background. I absolutely love it. Love it. And thank you, JJ, so much for all that you do, my friend. All right. If you guys want to find out about my shows or just be a part of our wonderful world, there are multiple ways you could do that. Number one, we always play this at the very end. Please join these groups because this community is awesome. It exists over on Truth Social and now over on X. Look for this Artist Corner community. It is absolutely awesome. And hey, Norma, start posting those pictures of your wonderful, wonderful flowers and stuff. Those are beautiful. We would all love to see them. And if you guys post your stuff in there, that's one way I can see it with algorithms. Sometimes I don't see that, but I for sure see it when it's in the group. And I love to be able to post and comment on all of your guys' work, whether you are a painter, a photographer, a poet, an author, a honey maker, a woodworker, you name it. I love it. Okay. Another thing too is I post out promotions for the shows, always usually the night before. So you guys, please help me share those out. I appreciate that. Let's get some more wonderful people in our community. But please, you guys can give me a follow. You can follow me on X at Lady Hamilton AR1. I also have another account on X. Truth, Pilled, and Gabbed at Lady Hamilton Art. So you guys can follow me on those as well. And for the ones over here on YouTube, guys, if you want to check those out, we usually do our art shows on YouTube Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You guys can check that out if you want to. That's Lady Hamilton HH. All right. But you know what? I have not only the best viewers, and thank you guys so much for your wonderful support to help keep these shows going on. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys are here. And then on top of it, you guys support the show. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I truly love each and every one of you. But these guys are something above and beyond. They're my amazing, amazing team, just out of the kindness of their hearts and their love for me and their love for these shows. I have the best team of moderators. I could just choke up. And thank you guys so much for all that you do to bring awareness and bring all you viewers to this show and create this community with me, starting with the amazing JJR SVL. Please, if you can, and you're on any of these social medias, you guys give these guys a follow. You can follow JJ on Truth, X, Gab, Pilled, Getter. And that video right there came from that amazing Rumble channel. Our fantastic Tri-Stater. Please give him a follow on Truth on X. You guys he's got a great group over there on Truth Social as well. Our beautiful and amazing Nancy. Let's give her a follow on Truth and on X. Our amazing and fantastic Frosty Pimp as well. Love you, my friend. Please give him a follow on Truth and X. And also our beautiful Kim. We can follow her on Truth. All right, guys, this is the end of our night tonight, and we are going to be leaving. If you guys have not seen their concerts, we just played one last week as a replay because they are a phenomenal group, a family band that just lift our spirits every single Sunday. They have done 5 live concerts on this show, and I love having them in our Artist Corner family. We are going to be leaving today with this amazing song called My Heart is Glad from the amazing group Aromem. Amazing group. We need to get them heard around the world. So you guys can help me with that. And I hope to see everybody tomorrow, right? Tomorrow for our Feel Good show, Let the Good Times Roll Worldview at 7 p.m. I'll be putting those announcements out right after this show. So you guys help me share it out. And I hope to see everybody tomorrow. But as we leave here tonight, we're going to leave with Our Heart is Glad from the amazing group Aromem. Let's load it up, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for coming and supporting Norma and Mark. I appreciate it so much. Everyone, love to you all. Have a great night and be blessed.
Six strings are strummed each day, flute and drum to join my tune as I give my sounds to you. And if your heart is touched to hear my guitar strum for you, is my offering, a sacrifice of praise to you. My heart is dancing, overcome by all that you can do. And if your heart is touched to hear my guitar strong for you, may my fingers stay strong to bless you. If flute and drum and strings shall sound and give their praise to you, like flowing reeds in the breeze, my feet will dance for you. And if your heart is touched to see my feet give praise to you, may my feet stay strong to bless you. This is my offering, a sacrifice of praise to you. My heart is dancing, overcome by all that you can do. And if your heart is touched to see my feet give praise to you, may my feet stay strong to bless you. This is my offering, a sacrifice of praise to you. My heart is dancing, overcome by all that you can do. And if your heart is touched to hear my guitar strong for you, may my fingers stay strong to bless you. May my fingers stay strong to bless you. May my fingers stay strong to bless you.
Satellite coming down in 3, 2, 1.